Oh, oh, Lord. Huh? Oh, excellent. I didn't realize we were on the mic. Yes. I'm just pretending to everyone else that I didn't realize we were on the mic. Forgot that we were burping a little in the beginning. I told you guys, you don't want this hot mic. I might burp, I might toot. You never know what's going to happen during the show, or at least the intro of the show. So remember, get your black canvases ready. I'm going to 16 by 20 black canvas today, turned horizontally. So it is landscape oriented, you could say. And then we're going to be getting our liquid clear on top of that canvas. We need to order more liquid clear, by the way. Oof. Like badly. Like really badly. I don't think I have any more over there. Yeah, nope. We need, some liquid clear. Are we about ready? Oh, Instagram always does that. Ugh, I'm ready for a nap. I'll work right now. It's all right. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's all good. Sweet. Welcome, everyone. Welcome in. Everybody check in right now before we even start. And let's just get these comments rocking and rolling, Berber. Oh, man. You guys are amazing. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's do it. This is an intro for you right here, guys. Oh, I'm supposed to be painting. I always forget. Okay. Welcome in, everybody. It's Paint with Josh back in the studio with you again today. And as you can see, we're on a black canvas and we're applying our BobRoss liquid clear. You can always use Grumbacher's liquid clear as well. They work equally well. But we need to make sure that the entire canvas is covered with this clear paint once again, right? It makes the canvas look more black than it originally is when it is dry, but it is not a black paint. Otherwise, the bristles would be black. And you can see that they are not. So we're going to get over here, spread out all this excess. Guys, I'm excited. I think my final sample brush is coming. So if you've been waiting for the Paint with Josh brush kit, it is one step closer to coming out because the last of the samples has been sent. Haven't arrived yet, but it has been sent. So one step closer. They're thinking about May that the Paint with Josh brushes will be out, right? So if you've been waiting, that's about how much longer we're going to be waiting. I'm just as bummed out as you. I want them out now. I want them out yesterday. I want them out tomorrow. It's just they take time to do it, right? I'm not the only artist that they make brushes for over there. So we will wait our turn, and when our things come out, then boom, you guys will be ready to grab them. Now, we put on our liquid clear, and now we're wiping off the excess, because some of the times we put on too much, right? If you do have too much, it's going to be too crazily sticky and nasty for us, right? So you guys check in. Tell me where you're watching from out there in the night. We're going to really cool, like Aurora Borealis mountain painting. Seriously, maybe one tree, maybe 0 trees. We'll have to see what it looks like. So we're going to come in here. A lot of blue. I'm going to get a lot of purple on my brush too. Just mix them both together out here, okay? Then we're going to literally cover the entire canvas with this purpley blue mix, okay? We normally do like stripes and different bits of color in the sky, but for this one, we're going to do it bluey and purpley all over, right? The blue and the purple are going to kind of accentuate their own selves, right? And make each of themselves even more vibrant, right? Which is what you want. Now, you want to have a fair amount of paint on there. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean that I need it to be this heavy up here. We want to take the paint, put it up here, and then we're going to spread it out and use a lot of pressure. You can see just how much pressure we're using right here, right? We're just putting the paint on the front, the tip of the brush, right out there, not on the sides. I'm not laying it down like a fan brush and wiggling it down the sides. It's just out here on the end. But because we're pushing so hard, right, that is what is spread. Look at how far we're pushing, how many bristles are bending so far, right, because of how hard we're spreading the paint. If you leave it on there too heavily and you don't spread it out, then your white paint has no chance of becoming white, right, or staying white. It'll instantly turn into this bluey purple. Now we're going to leave the middle section pretty much uncovered, but down here at the bottom, let's put a little bit of our bluey purpley paint. And again, it's just for a bit of misty residue, a bit of change in the color, right? And then, because we left that space in between, we're going to mix it up lightly in between, right? I don't want a lot of heavy paint right here because that's where our mountain's going to go, right? But the underneath part, where we're going to be mixing in and having our mist and all that stuff and different colors in our snow, that can be a little heavier, right? So very heavy along the top, very heavy along the bottom, and then in between, we can kind of mix them together, right? And that way there is a little bit of the color in between, but we don't need the whole thing. The less paint that's in the center here, the center bottom anyway, the middle bottom, then the more easily our mountain's going to stick to the canvas, the less chance you're going to have of your white paint changing colors too much. You know what I mean? So we'll show you what I'm talking about. Now let's get out here. We got to wash off all that heavy. Are you kidding me? I didn't pull the palette out of the way in time, and so I basically just dunked the brush right into the black and the crimson paint. Goodness gracious. So get that paint off of there. Move the palette, flick it into the trash can, put the palette back, open up the bucket lid, beat the BobRoss out of it, right? Close the lid on the bucket though. You don't want that stuff floating up into the air. Now we're going to dab the brush off on a paper towel very vigorously, even almost towel whipping it against the table to remove that excess wetness, right? Now, we've got a canvas full of blue and purple and blue and purple and a very light bit of blue and purple in the center. All mixed in, all smushed around and random and crazy. Now, let's get in here and you know what we're going to do? Let's do it a little differently than we normally do, right? Like we always get in here with our fan brush and we wiggle it down. We get a good amount of paint on the brush. And then we come up here and we just draw in this big old line. Right? I don't necessarily want to do that. Actually, let's do it this other way too. We'll go the opposite direction. Right? We'll come over here and let's just try getting in here like this, lining it up where we want it to be and dragging it upwards, right? We know that it's going to change when we hit it with our 1-inch brush, right? When we get in there, and we can even get in here along the bottom, right? Just to have the bottom be a little bit more jaggedy. It doesn't have to be this straight thing, right? So let's just swipe in a little bit, just a little thing, right? Nothing too crazy, nothing too heavily in the paint. And then when we get in here with our big 2-inch brush, right? 2 inches is big, you guys, I'm telling you. Try doing your makeup with this. Look, how are you gonna do your makeup with that? Doesn't work, I'm telling you. So we're gonna push in hard. We're gonna drag it up, right? Now the more paint that is there, the more is going to drag upwards, right? The more undercolor that is in there, the more it's going to interact with that white paint, and that white paint will start turning those colors, right? We're pulling them straight up, and the point being, we don't want a straight line along the bottom. I don't want that heavy line like I've done in the past. I want to make them so they're a little bit more scratchy, a little bit more crazy along the bottom as they are on the top, because that's what it literally looks like, you guys. Now, the more that we overmix and pull on all this paint, the more it's just going to all look the same. You know what I mean? And we don't want it to do that. So only use the tiniest amount on the one side of the brush. And just to show you, there's barely even any purple on the paint pile. All that white paint stayed nice and white. So what if we came down here? Let's do it again, right? Let's go, I don't need to go so big, but what if, it does have to cut into certain areas, right? So what if we tapped in a little line like this? And who knows, boom, right? Almost like we're making like a big long tree branch. See what that ends up looking like. What do you think it's gonna look like? I don't know, right? We're about to find out. We're about to find out right here, right? We're gonna take our 2-inch brush, push hard, drag it up. Push, drag, push, drag, push, drag. Match the angle, drag it up though. Up, up, up we go until you have something different, right? We have a new band of color right here that is different, closer, at a different angle, whatever it is, right? I'm going to come and swipe down a little bit again, just so we can have that uncrisp bottom, right? We want the bottom area to be just as kind of scraggly as the top, because it's going to look more realistic that way, right? Oh, man, that not the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen. I think so. I don't know about you guys, right? Over here, we're going to do one more, and then we got to pipe in a monstrous mountain, okay? Just an enormo, fantastic, what's that word? The gigonormastic, whatever. There's a word for something very amazingly huge. Humongo gigantus. What's that word? That's exactly what I just said. Humongo gigantus. That's gargantuan. That's what we're trying to make as far as our mountain, right? So this next one, again, let's come down from a steeper angle. Again, fresh little bit of the brush. We don't even have to start from the edge. As long as we can get a crisp little bit of paint right there. Cut down, maybe we drop through, and come over here, just smooshing it against the canvas, right? Cutting in a little bit into the residual bit of our last guy up there. Push it hard and drag it up. Boom, boom, boom. The more times we drag it up with more force, the more paint is going to go up with it, right? So we're determining what we want it to look like. We'll come down here and make them a little jaggedy, just a little McJaggerty along the edge right there. Bang, right? Oh, 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 that is fantastic. Seriously, we can make this whole one go along the bottom. I could change this one. They don't all have to be exactly similar, right? The same or whatever else. Now, if bluey purpley is your vibe, then this is going to be your painting you're going to want to do, or the one you're going to want to grab. Oh, 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 fabulous. Now, let's go in, mix up an enormous amount of our Paint with Josh plaque mix, right? We're basically using the Jive 5 for this one. I don't know. That's probably not the best. No? You come up with a rhyme then, right? We call it the core 4, right? So if we're going to add in a 5th, that would be the Jive 5. Like what other word rhymes with 5? No. The what? Okay, I guess you could do the live 5. Yes, it's prohibition times. We're jiving, okay? We're going to go to the live jive and at 5. Okay. So, if we've got these dark colors, you can add your purple in there if you wanted to, right? But you don't have to. You can go with these 4, the core 4, basically. And we're using our 3 dark ones, okay? Now, we have to project up into the auroras just a little bit at a certain level, right? Sometimes we'll be able to see some of the bottom. Sometimes we won't. Maybe it'll come up over here. Maybe it'll get higher. Depends on where you want your peak of your mountain to be. And it could be a whole long ridge, right? Maybe we start down here and then we'll see where we're going to go, right? Maybe we get over here, smooshing on that black paint and then deciding what should we make this guy look like. Should he have a couple little humps? Should we go down below the auroras back there and then pop it back up into it, right? So the mountains kind of dip down. Maybe we got 2 different peaks over here, but we can see the bottom of some areas and we cannot see the bottom of some areas. Now remember, this mountain is going to be enormous. It's going to take up the majority of the canvas. So we don't need too much of our plaque mix. We can kind of scrape up what's there, right? And maybe attach it into another place. Over here, over there, every which where we want to be. Okay, maybe there's another little peak right in there. Ooh, just hiding that little bit of the brightness. Oh, that's so gorgeous, right? Where do you feel like? Maybe another one there. Maybe another here. Maybe a boop, little thing, little here, little there. They don't have to be these perfectly straight things. Maybe this guy, since we're only doing mountains on this one, comes over and it's very sharp and peaky, or very rounded and flat, or however you want it to be, right? That's the only person's opinion that matters, is yours. What do you feel like it should look like? Now remember, it does look very dark at this point. So let's get in here and we'll kind of swipe it out, and then we'll start highlighting it, and you'll actually be able to see what it looks like, right? I'm going to start at my middle one anyway. We're going to grab up here. We're going to pull that paint down and just let it kind of flow down this way, kind of next to it, underneath. Maybe we don't even touch that guy in the back, and we come underneath and kind of crisscross this guy, right? Over here, push it down the other direction. All we're doing is flattening out the paint so that it will be easier to put our highlight paint on, right? Maybe we take this guy and we crisscross him in front. Doesn't even matter, honestly, just as long as you're spreading it out. This, a lot of the times, will give you an idea on what do you want your mountain to look like, right? But since it's very hard to see, let's get in with just a couple highlights, right? And then we'll take our little commercial break. But at least give something for the people to see out there. I'm going to get my blue and my titanium white in a good amount, like a lot of white, a little bit of blue, so we can make a like blue sky colored day. And right, get over here, flatten it down, and then we can start dropping these things on in different areas, right? We're basically going to split the mountain, not directly in half, but split it in half, basically, right? We're going to get our roll of paint. Depending on how big it is, we're going to come up here, attach it, and then let it float off. See how it's breaking differently? It's gripping the paint underneath on the mountain itself differently each time. We're not trying to push it. I don't want to smear the paint. I want it to grow. You know what I mean? What direction does it grow? That's all up to us. We get to decide that. We get to decide how heavy it is, how far it goes down, in every which way possible. It's all up to us, right? Each time you do it, it'll look a little differently, right? Sometimes you're barely touching and you'll just barely drop off a little bit of paint. Sometimes you add a little bit more and you'll drop off more of that paint, right? And again, we can decide how it looks each time. So now that at least we've got a little bit up there, does it look like a little mountain chain? Just a chain of mountains casting these little shadows. And remember that this is the shadow side. The bright side is coming, right? A lot of people see this and they go, oh, why'd you do the highlights over there when your light source is coming from a different direction? And I go, no, we do the shadows first. We don't do the highlights first, right? That's a different channel. So let's get our shadows on, that bluey paint. And as you can see, as I made a mistake, I had to scrape up that paint and come back in and change it, make it look how I want it to look, right? So hang out for this quick little commercial break. It only takes like 30 seconds. We'll be right back. It's going to be me in the commercial anyway, so hang out, see what I look like, and we'll be right back after these words. What's wrong, dude? I'm trying to book my Paint with Josh class. Oh, that's simple. He's got an app.
Holy cow, did you see with all of our new setup and all of our new equipment that we can actually see I'm talking about all of your comments. So not a single comment will get missed, nothing gets lost. I can see them on the television. And London right back here is checking everything out on the computer. So comment. It helps much more than you might think and helps boost engagement and gets us out to more people. So let's get back to the show and see what we got going on up there.
Let's see what we got going on up there. Okay, let's throw in some white. Remember, this whole thing is mountain chain, right? So we can decide what it looks like, and then we can decide whether or not we want to put something at the bottom, if we want to put a big tree in, or whatever we feel like doing, right? That's the best part about it. So let's take a good chunk of our white paint, probably about double what we had grabbed the very first time that we used it. And instead of grabbing the blue from up here where it is very heavy right out of the tube, right, we're going to grab a little bit of this blue, a couple little scrapes, right? That way, when we mix this guy up, you can even see the blue scrapes in there. When we mix up this white, we will know, and you will be able to tell a difference, that it is not pure titanium white anymore, right? I'm always feeling like the furthest away we get, the less vibrant everything is, right? So as far as our blue shadows, right? It's not pure, deep, dark blue. It's a little bit more faded, right? So for our highlights, we can't just use pure white all the way in the distance. We have to kind of fade that white. And instead of it getting brighter, like our blue is a little bit brighter, the white becomes a little bit darker, right? A little bit more distant, not pure white, because down here in the front, we want that pure white to stand out. So we're going to scrape up another little roll, judge off of how much paint is on that roll, because you have to stay that far away from your canvas, okay? We're going to come up here. Let's get in the middle one. Come up here very lightly, start allowing it to grip the paint, and very lightly come up. How far can you allow that little roll of paint to go? How lightly can you touch that mountain, right? There's still a very small amount. And to access it, the handle of my blade needs to get closer to the canvas, right? Initially, we're kind of out at like a 20-degree angle away from the canvas, but eventually we need to get right up on that thing to where our handle is almost touching, right? That way, you're going to be floating at the correct angle away from the canvas, right? And the right distance away. And the more that we go across these things, the more we're going to cover those little breaky areas, those deep spots of cavernous darkness. You know what I mean? Like nothing out there has to be pure white. Right? This area of this mountain was it's very heavy because we didn't brush it out, and I'd forgotten about that. So let's go scrape off all that heaviness, and now presto, our white shall remain brighter. Now remember, it's not pure white. It doesn't have to be all the way back there. It doesn't even have to be the same shade of white, honestly. It could be a different under base of your mountain or whatever the case may be, right? Now let's say if we're catching all this light and we're coming down this way, right? This is like a breakdown, like a mountain. What do they call those classes that are like really intensely focused on one thing? It's like a deep dive into mountains, right? So we can change the angle, and remember, this whole thing is mountain chain. This whole thing can be this one set of mountains right here. But we're going to try to kind of keep them separate a little bit, right? Get up here, float, float, float. Remember, lighter the touch, the better, because it's going to allow the paint and the canvas here to very much like sandpaper grip this roll of paint and take it in different layers, I guess, or levels, right? Like if it's very heavy in one place, right? The canvas wanted a lot of paint right there, right? Versus it could take it a lot less down here. Right? It depends on how much paint is on the blade, the amount of pressure that we're using to drop this paint off, right? I come down here with my blue and allow that blue to kind of fade up into our little bit of white. So we got a little valley down in there that you didn't even know was there until we put it in. Right? Same thing, if I want to change this, again, I got to put a little bit of shadow. So we're making a more of a 3D mountain by making a Z pattern or an S pattern or whatever you want to look at it like, right? Maybe this blue over here was a little heavier. Just need a little bit more blue. Toss it in over here, right? We're choosing what we want it to look like every time, you guys. What do you feel like today? Because it doesn't always have to be the same, right? What if we felt like, I don't know, maybe that section should be a little bit more full, or vice versa. If we wanted to create more of a 3D look on one of these mountains, right? You could go off of the back edge over here into that shadowy zone and allow it to feed its way down here, right? Adding one more little chunk, one more layer of depth and dimension, right? It's almost like we ripped the chunk out of that mountain now just by having a little bit of our white snow being caught on the one side over here on our shadow side. And so you get to choose every time what it looks like. You want to come back over on that shadowy edge and change the look of that little ridge, all up to you every single time. There. Don't spend too much time in one area. That is for sure, right? Now, maybe we wanted to come down here. Maybe this guy slid up into the blue zone, right? We can't go all the way over into that shadowy zone. Maybe it came up there, grabbed it, right? We're deciding with each little swipe what happens. What's up? see. Getting real tired of mountains, says John. Are you watching my channel all the time? Because, I mean, if... Yeah, I mean, I don't, like, if anything, I would even say about myself that I paint too many seascapes, right? So I think everybody would agree with that. Like, Josh paints too. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, and sure, you might only watch my show on days when we're painting mountains, and that is unfortunate because I try to kind of alter back and forth in between land and seascapes, so people that watch, and let's see, haven't seen a PWJ mountain in ages. How can on one platform, what'd you say? Yeah, one platform, someone says, oh my God, I'm so tired of Josh's mountains. And on the other platform, someone says, oh my God, it's been ages since I've seen Josh do a mountain. How's that possible? I don't understand that. This is the definition of, if you have your own channel, you're trying to be like me and be Paint with Josh. I mean, do tutorials and all that stuff, and you got your own following and all that. You cannot please everyone. This is the definition of it right here, right? Like, one person says, oh, you do this all the time. And then another person says, oh my God, you haven't done this in ages. So which is it, right? Don't listen to them. Do whatever you feel like. That's what I've always done, right? Like, I've always come up here and been like, you know what? I want to paint a seascape today. We're going to paint a seascape, right? If anybody doesn't want to watch it, then they won't watch it. Like, if I want to do mountains today, then we're going to do mountains. If I want to do this, we're going to do that. So, and it's only because I've like stressed out over people like that have been like, oh, you've done this too much, or you do this too much. I get that all the time. Like, it's usually about seascapes. Like, another seascape. Oh my God, like, not again, seriously. And you know what I mean? So I try to keep a good balance of them. Sure, I'll do a couple, maybe there's one day where I do 2 seascapes. So you see 2 seascape videos in a row. Maybe I'll do a seascape the next day too, and there might be 3, but then I'll change it to a mountain scene or something else because, I know that not everybody likes watching the same stuff. But I also know, and you guys should also know, that I get so many new followers a day, right? That even if I did this tomorrow, I would reach someone who had never seen it before, right? So it's not about just painting the same thing over and over again. It's about trying to reach the people that weren't here yesterday and show them, a thing that you guys that were here yesterday learned. Oh, exactly. You just, even like Glenn said, I could do this same one day after day for 10 years, and still someone would tune in and be like, oh my God, it's like, I can't believe that, it's been so long since I've seen Josh do a mountain. Like, it will happen no matter what, right? So I always try for you guys to try to have a little difference. Who talks about differences more than me, right? So I know I gotta have a little difference in my paintings, or I can't just always paint a seascape, even though that's the only thing that I want to do. I can't just always do that because someone else out there is going to want to try something else. And if I want to keep having followers continue to follow me and stuff, then we need to, change. What'd you say? What'd you say, Lenny?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can do a seascape every day. I could if I wanted to, right? But I feel like, people would stop watching after a while because they would eventually get sick of the seascapes. They want to try something else. And I didn't even try a seascape until 2 or 3 years into painting, right? I was afraid to fail. I didn't know, I couldn't figure out what Bob was doing, how it looked like it did. Mine weren't looking like that. And I was like, what is going on? So after a while, right, I eventually, something clicked. I did something, and I was like, oh, that's exactly what I want it to look like, right? So how do I do that again and make it look like that? What did I do? And so I kind of took a little break right in the middle of the painting. And I was like, okay, I did this movement with that much paint, and it came out like that. So I'm going to try to remember that for the next time that I do a mountain or whatever I was doing, right? And most of the time it's waves. And I'm like, ooh, that made a really cool shape. I got to remember how to do that the next time I want to make that same shape. And that's what I always talk about too. Like learning everything that you can do with one tool, right? Like, what can I do with this palette tool, right? I could paint mountains. I could paint a cloud if I wanted to. I could paint a waterfall, a river. I could paint snow. I could paint a log. I could do rocks. I could do tons of stuff, right? Because I've done 2,300 paintings and I've used this thing just about as many times and as many different ways as you can use it, right? So I know going into, this painting that if I wanted to make a little bit more depth and have my rocks look like they're, a little bit more jagged, I can come up into my shadowy zone with just about that much paint on the blade and then have it fall off. If I need it to be a little bit less, I come in and scrape it from a different angle, right? And now we've got this projection, this really serious projection right there, right? If I come over here and get off the back side of him, clean it up a little bit, boom. Looks like all of a sudden we've got a different point. Right now our point has moved from here to here, right? Do I want to have something else? Do I want to have another one? Do I want to have it look different or better or whatever? More bright, less bright? All these things are up to you guys. How far, how big are your mountains, right? Totally up to you. What if I wanted to get rid of that entire blue section, allow the front of this mountain to connect on to the sliding white snow of this mountain? I can do that, right? You can too. All you got to do is put on enough heavy paint and allow it to do that, right? Now, just as well as the light, anytime you have the light, you got to have the dark. Now, granted, this blue is not a very dark blue, right? But it is darker than the bright white, and therefore it acts as a shadow, right? Maybe those little dark blue areas matched up, right? Hey, right there. And then all we need to do is fill in a slight little bit of our white over here. Going more and more and more horizontally, the more lower we go, right? So let's take another quick little break. I'm going to grab wet the whistle with a little big gulp over here and maybe mix up some more of our white and blue paint and then maybe decide how much further we're going to go with all these guys. Should we change? Maybe this angle cuts all the way in front of that guy, or this one, maybe they come down and meet, right? You never know until we come back. So hang out for this quick commercial break. Excuse me, and we'll be right back after these words. What's wrong? I couldn't hold it in. I'm trying to book my Paint with Josh class. Oh, that's simple. He's got an app. What do you mean he has an app? You didn't know? Everybody has an app, you dummy. It's gonna be way better. Where's my phone? Dude, are you for real? Everything's on an app now. Show me how this works. Show me now. Show me now. I'll show you how it works. Let me get my phone. Hang on. Dude, booking the classes is easy. I use my Paint with Josh app to get notified when the show goes live. And then if I wanted to purchase the paintings doing live on the show, I'm going to tap the menu button, click buy the live painting, and boom, it will appear. All I have to do is add it to my cart, and here we go. Dude, this is like way easier. And I love that it notifies me before the show starts, because half the time TikTok doesn't even do that. It tells me after he's already finished. Bro, same, I feel that. I always get the notification like 6:20 and he's already done by then. Yeah, no, thanks, dude. I'm gonna book my acrylic class right now. Acrylic classes, did you say? We're teaching an oil painting today, but yes, we do offer acrylic classes. Again, I'm gonna mix up a little bit of white, a little touch of blue, a little more blue this time though. I want it to be more bluier than the last snow. And that will indicate to me that we are getting a little closer to us because the shadows are becoming more deep and vibrant. Right? Here we go. A little bit of that guy. And same amount with our white. So let's go get our white chunky snow. Grab a little touch of that blue over here. Less blue than we grabbed before. Right? Here we go. Because we just need it to be off-white. Right? If we, by the time we get to the very bottom, if we have to use our pure titanium white, then so be it. Right? But I would prefer we would try to mix it a little bit. So it's not just a pure titanium white. Remember, you can grab this painting. It is available over on the site or the app. All you have to do is go to paintwithjosh.com or download that Paint with Josh app that's in the App Store and the Google Play Store, right? Now I'm gonna get a little touch of black and a little touch of blue together, because right in here, there, I just needed to have, there, couple little bits of difference, right? Like that rocky stuff that's hanging out. What's up? No doo-doo? Yeah, no doo-doo, please. Well, yeah, appreciate that. So, Now let's come down and continue this enormous mountain chain. Now remember, we connected the brightness right here. So we're going to have to work hard and change our angles. Maybe this guy is very vertical right there. Kind of dropping straight down, right? Obviously less over here and then kind of feeding into his guy. But if we're dropping it straight down versus going vertical, and we've got a little cliff hanging out at the base underneath all that white paint, that's going to look really cool. Same thing for our little friend. We can attach on and just drag a little further, dropping that paint, helping it sort of blend its way over to the side. Remember, not everything has to be filled. We don't have to cover it completely. And this painting is gonna weigh more than any of the other paintings because it's got so much paint on it. It's gonna cost me more in the shipping labels, dude. Over here and over there. Again, just adding a little bit more white where I think it should be a bit brighter, right? A little heavier in the paint. Not all of the mountains are always equal, right? Some of the times the paint just doesn't want to go into a certain area, which is okay. You don't need every spot to be filled, right? So don't cover over all of the stuff. And remember, if you do want to project that little point, you got to make sure you got a lot of heavy paint right there and go over into your shadowy area to just change it just the slightest bit. Now remember, yours can be as bright or as heavily laden as you would like, right? It's always up to you. You can change. You can get up in there. Ooh, just change that thing a little bit, right? Little things, little bits. Now along the top of these guys, we're literally pulling straight sideways. You can see it, right? Straight sideways, just like we do with our seascapes over there. And then maybe we can start changing the angle and stuff. But if we can fill up this spot, we can even come the other way. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever way is more easy for you to do. We're not trying to, smear it on, but now we have a little ledge right there so that if we decided to drop down a bit further, we can even scrape in a little bit of brightness underneath this guy. Right now, he's got a bit of snow underneath him, and then we can decide where it connects on to our little friend, right? Oh, that almost looks like a bridge out across the mountains. Right? How much white are we going to allow to show down here? Because we can't have too much, right? If it's a flat thing and we have this crazy sharp sheer ridge right above it, then we can't show too much of that white because, of course, there would be a little bit of shadows underneath. Now, what is the directional angle that you're using to pull those shadows? That's, again, all up to you. How much, right? Do you want another little flat ridge underneath it? Drop it down vertically. Just try not to cover everything. Little bits. You want it to fade off to the side? Pull it to the side. It's all up to you guys. Seriously, I have nothing to do with how yours looks. I'm giving you a cool idea, right? Add a little heavier, drag it a little further. There we go. Finally fell off the blade, right? Not every time will it fall off perfectly exactly where you want it to be, okay? Don't try to force it too many times into one place. It just doesn't help. I'm telling you. Now what if, dang, we had another little section of white right here. We didn't even paint a mountain over there until now, right? Bing, bang, boom. See? Catching the light is all we're doing, right? We can even make it come down here, drop it down, feed it into our little shadowy zone, right? And allow it to determine where it wants to be, right? Maybe sneak one more little ridge back here. And all of a sudden, guys, we've got the PWJ ridge of the century, okay? What should we call this painting? That's what I want to ask of you, right? What do you think out there in the night should we call this little painting? That's my question to you, right? What would you call it if you had just painted it? Dude, this is so much like a little pathway that's going up the mountain. I can see like Aragorn taking this pathway up and over the misty mountains, right? Did you know that Aragorn was going to be Russell Crowe? Yeah, Russell Crowe turned down Lord of the Rings. He turned it down. Turned it down. Are you insane? Like, Russell Crowe was the big thing at the time. Like, Gladiator had come out, all these things had come out. And I was watching this interview, and he said that he felt like Steven Jackson didn't even know who Russell Crowe was, and that they were both New Zealanders, right? And so he was like, I felt like he was just like talking to me because someone said like, oh, you should talk to Russell Crowe. Like he's really big right now. And so he turned it down. And he said he did feel like that he was already going to go with Vigo. And that's who they end up going with. And of course, I mean, you can't beat Aragorn. I don't think I can picture Russell Crowe as Aragorn. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't work. So I'm glad they went with Vigo. But I saw that thing recently. So you guys come up with a title. Wow, look at those little ridges in there, dude. We got to come up with a little bit more of our snowy color, but not too much. There we go. So you guys come up with a title. PWJ Ridge is not available. That's all. I've already given you that suggestion, so you can't use that, okay? So you come up with a title, and if you grab this one, you get to, I mean, have the thickest Paint with Josh painting ever painted. But beyond that, you get to choose the title of what we call it, right? So what do you feel like this one should be called? If you purchase it, you tell us, literally, right? I'm gonna get the last bit of my rolling through all this titanium white, dude. One little scrape of blue there, just to change it up a bit. Scrape that guy up. We're gonna lay it a little heavier in some areas. Again, I want the dark little bits to show, but I also want it to be, you know, look like it's really heavily snowed this year. And we're just really covering up old PWJ Ridge full of snow. Right, so again, you determine how heavy you want it to be, right? And the heavier that you make it, the harder it gets. So be gentle, don't go crazy, right? Test things out. Oh, that's so cool. I am loving it. Plop on our white over here. Now along the edges, just to make it a little softer, just, I'm talking about barely any touching of the paint, okay? Same that we always do, just so lightly, just grazing it so it doesn't look like it's just a palette tool against the side of the canvas. Just there, just a little touch of softness, right? Fabulous. Like that. You can even get into certain areas if you felt like, remember, we're not trying to brush the paint. We're trying to graze over it so lightly that we don't even move it, right? Like even with all that heavy paint, you don't see a lot of it on the brush, right? Because we're not trying to brush the paint. I'm just trying to like just flick it, just very lightly graze across the thing so you don't even notice that I even touched it. Right? That's how soft you want to touch it. That came out wickedly cool though. So you guys start coming up with a title. Remember, if you want this one, you got to go to paintwithjosh.com or the Paint with Josh app, available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. I was waiting to mess that up, but I didn't. I was like, oh, I said it correctly. And grab this painting. It's the only painting that does not have a thumbnail for it, right? There's no picture of this because we haven't finished the show and been able to take a photo of it to post, right? So if you're looking in the store and you're looking at number 2322, and it doesn't have a photo of this Aurora Borealis mountain painting, that's a good thing. That means you're looking at the correct painting, right? Because we haven't stopped the show to been able to take a photo of it. So that was fast too, under 40 minutes, under 40 minutes, I guess, if you consider we put the clear on camera as well. Very cool painting. Easy enough painting that you guys can do just at any moment and grab a black canvas. You only need a few colors, right? And you can just run wild and practice these awesome little mountain deals, right? Wicked neat. So Northern Nights, I like that. We had a candle named Northern Nights, didn't we? Long time ago. London, by the way, she's here. She's got all the Glitterwix candles. Did we run a Glitterwix commercial? Let's run that on the next commercial then. And you guys got to see, you can go to her website and get loads of candles. They're right over here, just out of frame in the front of our store. Mammoth Peak, Borealis Mountains. I like that. Let's see. Northern Mountain Lights. That would be cool. Guys, this would be wicked in a light party. Imagine, remember, the light party picks up all the bright parts of the painting, and there's a lot. So the birds are going to be added. Don't worry about that. That's the last bit. That's the signature part. Right, let's see. Mammoth Peak was cool. Northern Alaska Mountains. Dancing Sky, I like that one. Frozen. Dancing Ridge. Let's see, Frozen Wilderness. That is cool too. Aurora Pass is nice. I like that. Let's see. Much easier to read when I'm not staring right into the light, although it's not helping the size or the blurriness of my vision. So, Cliffhanger, that's a cool one. That's a cool one. Yeti Heights. I like that. The Frigid North. That's a cool title too, guys. Seriously. Norwegian Nights of Lights. I like that too. I struggle to do Northern Lights. Do you have any advice? I paint with acrylic. Okay, so I'm not the best person to ask about acrylics Northern Lights because I haven't attempted them yet. I would imagine they would be very difficult the way that we do these, right? The Northern Lights in oils, it's very simple. Sorry? Oh, yeah, oh, that's massive. Yeah, that's fantastic. But the Northern Lights in oils, I always find very simple because everything stays wet and we kind of drag it up and everything's perfect. You know what I mean? So in acrylics, because it dries so fast, I would imagine you would need your canvas to be like wet with water and then put the paint up there and then swipe it while it's all still movable. I don't know how. I've not done it. But that's what I would imagine, right? Because we do the wet on wet, and acrylics I've been noticing are so different, right? Even like wet acrylic on a dry canvas is tough. I've got a virtual class tomorrow with Robert for our very first virtual acrylic class for the seascape painting that we did. And it's going to take a while because it's a very small amount of paint, and I'm not this good yet with acrylics. As far as doing mountains and Northern Lights yet, right? So not the best person to ask. Might want to go more for an acrylic painter because they're going to tell you they've been doing it longer. They know more tricks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Inspiring me to switch from acrylics to oils. So what I've always said, and what another instructor I know has always said, that if you have trouble blending with acrylics, then you're more of an oil person, right? So like this blending swipe right here, if you struggle with that in acrylic, you're going to nail that in oils, right? Because it's going to flow a lot easier and work a lot better, right? So I'll try the wet canvas idea. So what I did, I was trying to mess around even with a night sky, and I just had like a little squirt bottle, like a little squirt bottle that would just spritz the canvas a little bit. And, you know, again, I'm still learning acrylics, kind of teaching myself. So, but I know that having the wet base, the acrylic will move more. If you put on too much water, it's going to be too wet. If you don't do enough, then it's going to be not enough. You know what I mean? Yeah, and like Pam over on Facebook says, there are all sorts of different slow retarders that you can use that will make the paint last longer. There are things called slow dry acrylics now, right, that act more like oils. There's also something you can use that's called sculpting paint or sculpting medium in acrylic that make it more like oil. Transparent mixing white makes it a little bit more wetter, so it might slide a little bit easier doing the Northern Lights. It's just not something that I've tested before, at least enough to know how to do it, well enough to tell you how to do it. You do it a million times in oil, and I can tell you a million times over how to get it done and what to do and everything. But there are all sorts of extending or extender types of acrylic paint, and literally that's what I've always said too. There's so many things that you can do to acrylics to make them more like oils. Why not just switch to oils, right? Like, why do I gotta go get first all the acrylic paints and then all these extra additives and spend all this money just to be able to paint them like oils when I could just switch to oils and probably save myself some doughs? You never know. Yeti Solitude over on YouTube, that's a good title. So, Avalanche Peak is very cool again. Remember, if you guys want this one, you guys can grab it. Let's take a quick little commercial break. Run the, oh, no one's even noticed the Eye of Sauron down here. I see you. But, yeah, run the Glitterwix commercial so everybody can see how awesome our candles are. And you should get some yourself. So hang out for this quick commercial break. And we'll be right back after these candles.
Hey guys, it's PaintWithJosh back in the studio with you today, taking a break from editing to talk about our Glitterwix candles. Absolutely fantastic, super unique jars, more than 65 different scents that you can find if you head over to their site. Check it out, get your favorite, let us know which one you got when you come back, and let's pop over to the show and see what we've been missing while we've been gone.
Let's see what we've been missing while we've been gone. Who is that guy up there? I'm telling you, you guys got to go check out those Glitterwix candles. You can check out her site. She ships all over the U.S. They're amazing and last from between 40 to 60 hours, depending on how often you burn them. I have mine going all the time. So when can I get my other ones, by the way? Very soon? Okay, excellent. Let's see. Lost lights. Boom, boom, boom. Hear that. Abominable Pass. I like that one too. Aurora's Pass. I like that one too, you guys. So let's go. It doesn't look like anybody's trying to get this painting. So let's go over and choose the title ourselves. Remember, you can still grab it. It is still available. And you'll unlock the light party, which on this painting would be absolutely stellar. So everybody always loves and always follows the person who grabs the painting and unlocks the light party. So I'm going to finish wiping up over here. You guys are going to hit me with the last bits of your titles. And then are the wicks 100% cotton? No, the candle wicks are hemp wicks, 100% coconut wax, no additives, no paraffin, no, what's the thing that makes it last longer? Like well, yeah, the additives, but artificial stuff. You know what I mean? It's straight coconut wax with a hemp wick. And if you've ever had anything else with a hemp wick, right? Because there's different thicknesses. And a hemp wick that's too thin is just going to burn out and disappear and not melt the candle, right? We use the perfect size ones. London's been doing it for 6 or 7 years now. And over that many times, and it's a trade secret, the thickness of wick that we use, but it lasts and it works perfectly, burns all the way down to the bottom with very little soot residue along the top. Even if you left it going for 40 to 60 straight hours, very little black residue. They're my favorite candles, literally. So beyond that, let's pick a title. Hit me with your titles. I'm going to finish wiping up this guy, and we're going to be all Shadowreerski, my friends. Oh, nasty. I didn't realize how much paint we're going to actually use on this 16 by 20 canvas to make an entire mountain range, right? Because you need a fair amount of paint. Honestly, it's not like if you're not using enough, that's your problem most of the time, right? I get comments all the time or questions, or people will send me messages and go, I just can't get this to work and this, that, and the other. And I'll look at their painting and they're like, you're not using enough paint. You know what I mean? You got to use more paint. And so, like, when I realized how much Bob was actually using, because I was painting my, do my trees and stuff, and they were looking okay, and didn't know any different. And then one day I'm like looking at the size of the pile as I was watching Bob paint, and it's like the size of my fist, and he used the whole pile, right? So I'm like, I'm clearly not using as much paint as he is, not by a long shot. And so what I did was started using more, making bigger piles, getting more of it stuck into my brush so more of it could get stuck to the canvas. And it worked, right? So don't have to go crazy and be, as much as Bob. And if you can get it to work with less than I use, then do that, right? But that's why mine look the way they do and yours look the way they do, because you might not be using enough paint, right? So Heavenly Mountains is cool. Avalanche Peak. I don't know why I read that like a surf, but Avalanche, bro. Northern Splendor. Wonderland of Mountains. I do like that one. I did like Abominable Pass was cool. Cliffhanger was nice. All right, let's see. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Let's see. Northern Nights is excellent. I like that. Borealis Ridge, the Northern Pass is cool as well. Dig it, dig it. Let's see, Dancing Sky. Remember, we're coming up with a title for this painting, guys. So if you're just joining now, coming up with a title for this painting. It is available. There are more than 4 people over there looking at it, so you are not alone. If you wanted to grab this one, someone else is also there and may also get it right ahead of you. So be quick and come back, and we get to do a light party if you grab this one during the show. So let's see. Lighting Up Heaven. That's a cool one. Northern Alaska Mountain. White Out. I like that. That's cool. Lost Land, or Land of the Lost. 2 Dimensions. Mountain Majesty. We're going to put the birds in. Oh my goodness, guys. I usually put the birds in like at the very, very end. After we pick a time. After everything, right? But if you want to see them, okay, we'll pop them in. We'll put them in now. Every painting always has the birds. Just go, caw-caw. Just out there in the night. Boom, boom, boom. Fabulous. There they are. For everyone who was wondering, what about the little birds, right? Those birds are more famous than me, bro. And I'm not famous at all. I don't think that I'm famous. I don't. I can walk in to my Michaels, which you would imagine, right? Paint with Josh, over 3.5 million followers combined across platform, right? Walk into an art store and no one knows who I am. No one picks me out as being there. I'm not hiding. I don't go in with the hood on. I go in Paint with Josh attire with my logo on my back, on my hat, on my pants sometimes. And no one even knows I'm there. But if I forget the birds one time in a painting, heaven forbid, all the comments that come in telling me that I forgot the birds. You love when I go, caw-caw. You have to do that. Otherwise, Clawtooth Mountain. I like that. That's either a real place or it's something from a movie. I can't pin it. Clawtooth Mountain. Flying over the pass is cool. Let's see. Are you arguing with people? Okay. Am I painting later? I was hoping this one would sell, guys, because it's been kind of slow. And if we don't sell paintings, we can't pay rent. I can't buy new supplies. I can't bring you new shows. If I don't have Wi-Fi, if I don't have a building to stream from, you know what I mean? I can't do it. So I'm hoping that some of these paintings will start selling and we can pay the bills at the end of the month. Be fantastic. If not, you're going to be seeing a lot less of Paint with Josh. So head over to the Paint with Josh app or paintwithjosh.com. Grab any of the paintings over there. Literally, they're all fantastic. And it's going to be a good time. So I'm going to pick a title since no one's grabbed this one yet. And let's see. I'm just going to double check that we don't have, something about to come off. Here we go. Here, there, and everywhere. Perfect. Okay. So let's go with one. Ooh, Spirit of the Summit came in right under the bell. I like that. Let's do Spirit of the Summit. All right, that's really cool. I like that. Now, I can't wait to see your guys' versions of this painting because it's going to be amazing, right? Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Some will be a little less heavy in the snow. Some will be a little heavier in the snow. Some might have more mountain peaks. Some might have less mountain peaks, right? It all depends on the person looking at it. So, there we go. Over there. And this one is number 2322. That means that the next painting is going to be number 2323. Ooh. So if you're into numbers and you're looking for that perfect number to get, 2323, bro, I'm telling you, can't beat that. Over here, over there, and everywhere else. I really can't wait to see your guys' versions of this. I hope that you try it on your 16 by 20 inch canvas turned horizontally. We only really used, 5 colors, including the purple. If you don't have the purple, that's okay. You can switch it with phthalo green or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, I don't know, I do need to stream in order to make money. And since no, it's, hello! What was that? I just heard something. You guys! What was this guy? Over here and over there. Was it this painting? No way. Randy over here. Didn't write the title on it. True. I didn't. But now, since I haven't, Randy can actually choose the title since she grabbed the painting during the live show, right? That worked out perfectly because I was too distracted. So Randy, you get to now pick what the title is. And Made It Idaho over here. Welcome, Yolanda. Appreciate you. Let's see. It's an awesome paint. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you. Jurassic Peak was cool. And we get to do a light party on this one. So, where's Randy? She gets to pick. Let's see. The shadows look spot on, as did the rest. Thank you. I appreciate you. Nice work. Is that the BobRoss method? It's the BobRoss method with a Paint with Josh twist, right? Like, BobRoss was my grandpa's cousin. Yeah, you did get it, Randy. You just got to tell us what. Randy, you are our hero, says Mary Westlake. So Randy has to tell us what to title it, right? So whatever you think, plus we get to do the light party, which see everyone on all three platforms, everyone is excited about the light party, right? Light party. But yeah, back to MJK's comment. Bob was my grandpa's cousin. I never knew him in real life. I didn't even, like, I knew of him growing up. Like, he's a pop culture icon, right? But didn't know him, and I didn't even start painting until I was 34, which was like almost 7 years ago. And we only found out he was in the family tree like 2 or 3 years ago. And so I'd already been painting for like 4 years at that time. Doing my own thing, right? I never could afford to go take the class or get the certification. I could never afford the time away from family or work or whatever. And so when I started, it was right in the middle of COVID. Nobody was teaching. Nobody was doing virtual classes. I didn't do any. I had to watch Bob and teach myself. You know what I mean? So watch him try it and then like kind of mentally pick it apart and go, okay, why did it do that? What do I need to fix in order for it to do it like Bob? I used to study how I would like pause it and go frame by frame on how he would hold the palette tool and how he would slide it down and how his hand would turn. And I literally, frame by frame, watching it, trying to imitate that. You know what I mean? Because nobody was there to show me. Nobody was there to turn my hand or adjust my angle. And so hundreds and hundreds of canvases went to learning how to do it each time, getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Until now, you know, we've got more followers than anyone else who does this. And can actually make a living off of selling the paintings that we're teaching. That's what blows my mind. Like, really blows my mind. Because without those paintings finding new homes, right, I don't make enough just off of the videos being watched to afford everything, right? So just as always, like I said, just keep that in mind. The more you guys that patronize my store in a good way, you know what I mean, like go spend money, and the more canvases I can get, the more free videos that we can do. So I heard he was a military man. Joel saw it. Yes, he was, which is wild, right? You would think this very soft-spoken man would not have been the man that was yelling at all the cadets. Like, you just wouldn't think about it. So, Randy, what's the title for this painting? And then we can come back and we'll do another painting. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Maybe I can, is Robert here? Maybe I can get a message to him and see if he wants me to do that gold seascape that we did the other night, because he wants a commission of that one. So maybe we'll do that if Robert is here and can tell us. And if not, then I'll do something else, some crazy sort of, I was thinking like a sunset winter scene, because we had, you know, a good amount of viewership last time we did one of those. So all depends. Let's see. My dream is to go to Muncie, Indiana, to the the museum. So that would be cool. That would be really cool. To go check out and stand where he stood and look at how everything was back then. You know, we're talking like 40 years ago when he was on TV. All the old cameras and, you know, everything's been all updated and stuff. But yeah, and I'm not trying to talk negatively about anything, but if you're ever thinking about doing the BobRoss certification course, I would suggest following Paint with Bram and seeing what he has to say about it, and to not, you know what I mean? You can clearly learn from me for free, right, at your own house. You can come take classes from me. I even have a 2-day intensive course. It's a good amount of money, but we're going to paint like 8 paintings in those 2 days. And so you're really going to get your money's worth. You can come hang out at the studio with me all day long. We'll get pizza, have dinner here, paint again. It's going to be amazing. That's available. But you don't need those certification courses in order to be able to reach people and teach people, right? And a lot of times they're going to tell you to do it a different way. Yes, we do have a YouTube channel. It's called PaintWithJosh. You can find me over there. But they're going to tell you to do it a different way. They're going to change how you're doing it, right? If anything, I've always said, however you can do it and get the same technique, do it that way, right? I did a class one time. Someone was literally holding the palette tool, right? We would be holding it like this. They were holding it like in their finger like this, upside down, and dragging it along the mountain. And it worked. And I was like, well, if you can do it like that, do it like that. You don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it, right? It's always been about that. And pineapples are always included, literally. So, Randy, what are we going to title this one? We need a title now. And then we got to do the thing, and then our light party and the RGB party, and then we got to take a break so we can come back. So give me the title now. Yeti Heights, is that the title? Let's do it. We'll flip this guy around. Bang, bang, boom. Yeti Heights. Perfect. How do you spell heights again? H-I-E. Perfect. Just try to make you guys freak out. 3-7 on 26. And we're all going to go check out PaintWithJosh.com because you love me, right? Head over there and check it out. So this one came out amazing. We got to do the light party, and we're going to do it quick. So I'm giving you a light flash warning right now, right? The screen will go crazy. If you are sensitive to anything like that, I suggest looking away from your phone for the next 30 seconds or so after I say light party anyway, right? Now, if you're going to stay for the light party, I would like you to type in the words "I'm ready" into the comments, legally giving up all liability against Paint with Josh LLC. Right? Once you've typed in the words "I'm ready" into the comments box, then I want you to shut your eyes, right? Type in the words "I'm ready," hit send, shut your eyes. And as soon as I say light party, open your eyes and tell me the very first thing you see, right? It is more intense if you shut your eyes and then let them be closed for 10, 20, 30 seconds. And then when you open them, it will be more intense of a light party than if you were to just sit there with your eyes open now. So shut your eyes. Don't look at what I'm doing. I'm sitting here picking my nose in case you missed it. But type in the words "I'm ready," shut your eyes, and when we see enough "I'm readies," we're going to get it started in 3, 2, 1. Light party! So, what is catching your eye the most? You've opened your eyes. What pops out? The northern lights? The right mountain, the middle mountain, the left mountain, the ridge at the bottom, the birds in the sky. What's out there in the night? Thank you, pun F dollars. Appreciate you. All right, we got the auroras, the mountains. The mountains are dancing. The birds, the mountains. The middle one is catching your eye more than all the rest. Right? The mountains over here, the mountains over there. The birdies, the mountains, the trees behind the ridge. Okie dokie. Right? The auroras, the birds, the mountains, and everything else. Fabulous. Right? So, beyond that, let's get it coming down in 3, 2, 1. And we're back to normal lighting conditions. So if you were sensitive, you can turn your phone back around and look back at it. I promise you will only see my weird face on there. Now we're going to do something that we call the RGB party, or the BGR party. We're going to put blue light, green light, and then red light, or vice versa, red, green, and blue. All I need you to do is tell me which one you like the most, right? There's no flashing, there's no intensity. Just tell me whether you like red, green, or blue, and we're going to go red in 3, 2, 1, red. Ooh. Oh, that's so cool. Red's always my favorite. It's always my favorite, right? So we're going to go green in 3, 2, 1, green. Ooh, dude, that came out. Look at that, right? So what do you like best, red, green, or blue? Ooh, the blue makes it really like nighttime-y, like even more than it was before. You know what I mean? So which one was your favorite? The red, the green, or the blue? And everybody say thank you to Randy, because without Randy grabbing this painting during the live show, we wouldn't be able to do that cool light party and the RGB party, right? So thank you to Randy. We got blue, we got green, green, blue, green, red. No one likes the red? I always like the red best. I don't know, it makes it like a devilish, like mountainscape, like the peaks of hell or something. I don't know. I've always liked the red one the most. The green is almost the most like vibrant. It's the brightest of all of them. And then the blue, depending on the scene and the color of the scene, can change it crazy, right? I like the green over on YouTube. We got green, green, blue, green, green, right? Again, no one likes the red. Nobody. My word. We got lots of thank you Randys over here on Facebook. And Randy's watching over on TikTok. So see, you don't even have to be on the same platform to get thanked, right? Got green. Someone said the red is blurry. It depends. I mean, it could have been. I didn't see any blurriness, but other than that, man, came out fantastic. Honestly, I can't wait to see your guys' versions of this one. If we want to come back and do another show, we got to get out of here. So thank you to Randy. We almost missed the spinny winny wheel too. The spinny winny. Everyone would just freak out if we didn't do the wheel. Right, so if you've never heard or seen the spinny winny wheel, it is a gifting wheel that gives back a gift to our purchaser of our painting during the live show. Could land on anything from a Paint with Josh fancy glass to the grand prize stickers, a Glitterwix gift card, so a free candle basically. A Fish Pish shirt, one of the Paint with Josh puzzles, a poster, maybe a Paint with Josh hat. You never know. Maybe the glass. I might have said that in the beginning. But whatever it lands on is what's coming back to her in 3, 2, 1. I think everyone likes the sound the most. Shut up. Oh, you lose, unfortunately. That's okay. We're going to give you another spin. Here we go. There's more clicks for the people that like the ASMR. You lose again. Okay, now let's just hang on a second, okay? If we get 3 you loses in a row, you actually have to lose for once, okay? So, let's try it again. Come on. You lose, you lose. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, look at you. You got a free spin. How many spins are we going to go tonight? It's all the ASMR that everybody loves. So you think I'm not touching it? Oh, that was so close to the Josh wins section. And again, I got to talk to you about the other person too. I got to pull it up in my email. So you want a Glitterwix gift card, meaning you'll get a free candle on me. But you got to do a couple things to redeem said candle, right? You're going to email London or email me, and then I'll get you in touch with London. And then she's going to send you a code, and then you'll go over and grab the candle that you want. Pop in the thing or the code, it'll become free. And then all you do is pay I think it's like $6, $7 shipping. Maybe 10, something like that. And then we'll get it sent out to you as your free gift for making the show better. So thank you so much, Randy. If you're not, Randy's like a really avid follower. If you're not in the Discord already, when you email me, remind me to give you the Discord link so you can get in there. And that will make things a lot easier too. And plus, there's lots of cool people in the Discord. So beyond that, I can't wait to see your guys' version. Yes, ma'am? What's on my link tree? Oh, the Discord link? Seriously? I thought that link like reset. Didn't it reset all the time? Is it on there? Oh, dude, I mean, maybe we shouldn't tell everybody about that. Maybe we should. I have like 3.5 million people in my Discord. That would be impossible. So it expires every so often, they say, but you can also set one to permanently stay. So the one that I have does expire like every week, and then I got to go back and copy it in, or we have one that stays forever. So beyond that, you guys are amazing. I can't wait to come back. We'll do it again. I did sign it. We got the little JK down here in the corner. It's hard to see because there's so much snow in this painting. You know what I mean? A little bit difficult to see. I love these ridges right here, these little step downs. Like, which path did we take? You know what I mean? Because if we took this path, then we're not going to make it to the top of this mountain. It's going to put us over here. You know what I mean? We had to have taken this one along the top. Cool. I might do more of them like that too. Yes. Yes. So the Paint with Josh app, again, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. The people that are downloading the app specifically so that you can be notified when we go live, right? If you are tuning in and you're late, or you just can't seem to get there in the beginning, you can't see me prep the canvas or whatever, you know what I mean? Get the Paint with Josh app. It's free. Just go on the App Store, whichever one you have, type in Paint with Josh, download the app, and then it will send you a push notification because it's actually London sending it. It's not an automated notification. So the only way that you won't get one is if London forgets, which it's happened, and she's human, right? Everybody can forget every once in a while. But versus like TikTok, right? As soon as we end, I've got it down to a science. As soon as we end, 20 minutes will go by, and then boom, you'll get a notification that says Paint with Josh is live. Go watch his live show. After I've been done for 20 minutes. Where you be, Joshua? We're in Oregon. If you wanted to come down for a tour of the studio or a class inside the studio, we're here. And we also do virtual classes, which can be found on paintwithjosh.com or the Paint with Josh app that we were talking about. But head over, get the app. That's going to be the best way to get notified because it's actually us pushing the button and sending it out directly as we start the show. So you should be able to drop what you're doing, get over there and watch it. Beyond that, can't wait to see. Post it in my Facebook comments or send it to me via Facebook Messenger or however, Instagram, however you can get it to me. Send it over. Can't wait to see it. And until we see you guys again in about an hour exactly at 7:15, take care. That's West Coast, 10:15 East Coast. Just hit the... Well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out paintwithjosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys again next time, take care.